Hey, lovelies. This is Janelle, the relationship coach behind the successful invisible. And I'm here today with another episode of Ish I Saw on TikTok. The fact that there are angry men, but there are also really jealous men who are envious of women. Let's get something straight before the comments get loud. If a man is uncomfortable with you being admired, celebrated, or simply existing beautifully in the world, that's not love. That is insecurity in a trench coat. Too many women are being gaslit into shrinking their light to protect a man's ego, and then wondering why the relationship feels tense, controlling, or quietly hostile. Jealousy doesn't always show up screaming. Sometimes it whispers, why are they complimenting you? Or you don't need all that attention. And if you've ever felt like your success, beauty, joy, or confidence made your partner colder instead of prouder, this conversation is for you.
Men really do be jealous. I just seen a video on here of a guy talking about he has a homeboy that got mad because his girlfriend is pretty and she gets attention. Like they went out one night and she was like getting free stuff. People are always like doing the most for her. And he don't like that. It's okay if you don't want people like overstepping boundaries, but this sound, and the guy in the video even said it like that he's jealous of her. And I really didn't used to think that that was a thing, but I am really starting to think it's a thing because for the other men to notice this stuff and start to call it out, that means that they see it too. Like a lot of these men are jealous of women or like feminine energy.
I was jealous of my wife. And I'm saying this pretty much in response to my last video to further back up the claim of why I feel like I know that there's underlying aggression and hatred and jealousy towards women these days from some of the men that we hear on social media or on the other platform. But hear me when I say jealous. It wasn't a jealousy to the point where I wanted to harm my wife. I was jealous of the fact of how much I loved her. I loved her so much, and I saw how much I loved her, how much favor God showed her through me, and how much favor God just showed her all in general. And the reason why it drove me to a point where my relationship with God was hindered because I just felt like, Lord, I love this woman so much, and I see how you love on her. And I was really jealous, and I'm the one taking care of this woman. And it's like, how am I mad about how I'm treating somebody? Like, I'm treating her good, and I'm mad that I'm treating you good. Because deep down inside, I always wanted to be loved and taken care of like that by the Lord. And on my walk with Christ, it's been a lot of times where I feel like, God, I'm just out here. I got to work for everything. Nothing comes to me easy. I got to struggle. I got to scrape my knuckles against the ground. I'm just being honest and transparent because it's real out here. I love my wife dearly. When my wife was in school finishing her undergraduate degree, she said, babe, this last semester is getting really tough. I would really like to just focus on school and not work. And I said, you know what, babe? It's okay. Stay at home. Finish your degree. Do what you got to do, girl. And then when I had to get up and go to work and I saw her still in the bed, sometimes I would be so mad because it's been so many times in my life I wish that I could have just stayed in the bed. I wish that I had somebody to finance me while I pursue my goals and my dreams. And then it had to get to a point where I had to understand this is a demonic attack. Because a lot of you don't understand that when you get married, spiritual warfare is inevitable. The enemy is coming for your top. And I did not take that seriously when one of my brothers told me, like, look, bro, when you get married, that spiritual warfare going to be real. I ignored it. So the first year of my marriage, I was dealing with so much spiritual warfare because I didn't want to call it what it was. I was envious because I felt like God loved her more. I saw how God favored my wife. Understand me when I say this. My wife has faith. I feel like my wife has more faith than any prophet in the Bible. I'm going to just be real. And because of her faith, I saw how God moved in her life. And I wasn't there. I didn't have that faith. My wife has so much faith that she believes that when she gives childbirth, she's not going to experience pain. Her exact words was, God loves me too much to allow me to go through childbirth pains, even though he said it in scripture that a woman will go through childbirth pains. She believes God loves her so much that she is going to be the exception. May her delulu become trululu, right? But that's the type of faith God wants us to have. Now, granted, hear me out. This isn't to say that being jealous is such a bad thing, right? Because it's good that you felt that, because now you know what you need to take to God. Even though my jealousy did not turn into aggression, it's a lot of brothers out here who their underlying jealousy turns into aggression, and it turns into a very negative way of how you deal with women or your woman. And I'm just being transparent with y'all. I was like, dang, man, I'm out here scraping my knuckles against the ground. I got things I want to pursue. I got things I want to do. And it's just like, bro, you're allowing her to stay at home and pursue her goals. How are you going to be mad at something you're allowing somebody to do? And then I had to count it as a blessing because, Lord, I prayed. I prayed that one day I would be able to take care of a woman like this. And that's what the enemy going to do. The same thing you prayed for, he'll have you hating and being jealous of. And I said, Lord, forgive me, because I should not be jealous of the woman you gave me. And it took me a minute. I worked through it through therapy. I dealt with a lot of things through therapy. I had a lot of questions answered in therapy, and that's why I'm such a huge advocate for therapy. But when I started to really look at my wife as the blessing that she is, you guys, I cannot express to you the favor that God opened my eyes to and showed me that I always had. It wasn't that God just showed me favor when I got married. God has been showing me favor my whole life. But when you're so busy looking on what you don't got and what you wish you had, you don't realize how blessed you are. The whole time I spent having this underlying jealousy and this underlying, issue, I was allowing the enemy to trick me out my position of not understanding that I'm living in an answered prayer. I was dragged through the mud in relationships before I met my wife, and God gave me everything I wanted. I've been married almost 3 years, and I could tell you, no matter the arguments, the disagreements, the passionate debates, whatever you want to call it, my wife has yet to not come home with a smile on her face. Every morning she wakes up, I see all her teeth in her mouth. Anytime she walk in the door, I see all her teeth in her mouth. And I said, Lord, I am not worthy, because I had an attitude problem at a point in our marriage that probably would have drove anybody away. And you just showed me grace by not allowing the best thing that ever happened to me to walk away from me. She worked with me while God was working on me. And that's what a lot of people have to understand. People don't have to sit through BS. But because she saw that I was actively working on myself, and you got to understand something. I'm not saying every day was an argument. We had 98% great times. Still do. But the 2% of the times that it was really bad, it was really bad. And it was memorable bad. Like those debates and arguments, something that we constantly have to forgive each other for to this day, right? Anytime it come up in your mind, oh man, that was a crazy debate right there. But you know what? Lord, forgive me. But I could honestly say that I too had suffered from that. And then I had to realign my faith with God and understand that I am a blessed young man. And to have the woman I have, the enemy tricked me out my position and had me having underlying issues. Now, I didn't have no aggression and put my hands on my wife or nothing like that. But my wife really loves intimacy. So as a punishment, sometimes I would withhold intimacy from her because I was like, man, you always get what you want. What about me? And that was my attitude. So understand something. Just because you have a good man don't mean that he don't have his issues. Just because you have a man that isn't really aggressive and physically abusive don't mean that you don't have a man that still has issues. I had a praying woman, and she saw the man God gave her and not the man I was showing her. So all I'm trying to say is jealousy does exist when you're trying to covet the favor God has on his daughters because you're missing out on a favor God is giving you, brother.
Isn't it just so funny and not funny, haha, funny, weird, how men are jealous of women for the few ways in which we benefit in this society, but the ways that we benefit are systems that men put in place and continue to uphold? It's not fair that y'all get to wear pretty makeup and dresses and men just pay for your bills and such and I have to clock in to work all the time. It's not fair that y'all can do an OnlyFans and make more money than I make in 2 years. Y'all expect men to give you princess treatment and pay your bills because you're pretty, and meanwhile I have to have a personality. Babes, do you want to put on a pretty dress and some pretty makeup and have a man take you out for a nice evening on the town? Because you can do that. Do you want to start an OnlyFans and make bukus of money? Because, you can do that. Do you want princess treatment? Because, you can have that. Not only that, but who is supplying the demand for those things to begin with? Matter of factly, let me see your internet history and your bank statements, bucko. Y'all will be pissed to the highest level of pissivity at how easy we have it, yet y'all are the ones who contribute to why we have it so easy. So who are you really mad at? Yeah.
Man, this is crazy. And I'll be sitting back and thinking like, damn, why is these dudes out here jealous of these women? When have we got to the point in our life now, man, that men are jealous of women? Men are saying bad things about women because it's a reflection of them. They masculine. They think they like that. They don't listen. They 304, but we 305s. We don't listen. A lot of men taking on feminine traits. They got women taking care of them. They got women, grown women raising them. A lot of these mothers still at home with their mama. A lot of them don't have no goals and aspirations. A lot of them ain't taking care of their children. So you're going to say these women taking on masculine traits because they doing everything that we supposed to be doing in the relationship? Come on now. Don't be...
If a woman has a certain power or has a certain goddess energy, there are some men that get with us and they want to tear us down. So we honestly all have to be careful. All of us women who are upward, we have businesses, we have things, we have to be careful because even though you would think, oh, men are just falling at our feet, they actually get with us and then hate on us. They get with us and want to conquer us, want to tear us down. So we have to be very vigilant. We have to pray for a certain level of discernment when we date, because when men come around, you have to be able to feel his spirit and not what he's saying. Because, baby, they will run your ass through a tornado and you won't know what happened.
Women with pretty privilege make men jealous. Oh, they're gonna hate me for this one. It's a lot of men out here that look at women who have pretty privilege and just feel like life is too easy for them. And that's where the jealousy comes in. If a woman wants to get on a yacht in Miami, all she has to do is be pretty. And some rich guy is gonna invite her on a yacht. If a man wants to get on a yacht in Miami, he gotta go pay for it. So these experiences that men be feeling like pretty women don't have to work for breeds jealousy. I gotta stop that. Now, this is not all men, because it's some real ones out here that know. Life is what it is. We take the double standards and we play our role. But it's a lot of, I don't know what to call them, that be feeling some type of way.
One of the easiest ways to tell if a man is jealous of you is to see how he responds when you receive compliments out in public. There was a woman that made a video on here talking about how she was out of town for work. She ended up going to like the hotel lounge or something. A man ended up approaching her and sitting next to her, and she had about 3 different people compliment her. 2 of them were women, 1 of them was a gay man. After every compliment, the man would respond with, "Why are they complimenting you? Why are they saying that?" He even went as far as to say that one of the girls must be crazy because she complimented her. And the girl says, like, I get this often, especially because she has a very exotic look. Her skin tone is, you know, very unique. And she says that this is kind of like a current, you know, this is like an everyday thing for her. He then tried to reduce it down before and say, oh, well, it's just because you're new here. You know, you're not from here. They're not used to seeing you. And she's like, no, I'm from Houston. This is kind of the thing. So I have another Medium article where a man literally just exposed the fact that they are jealous of the fact that women get compliments. And this is something that they have a very hard time dealing with. And believe it or not, there were even men in the comments that went as far as to say, you're the problem if you're not getting compliments as a man. So let's hear what it is that he has to say. He says, let's get one thing straight. Men don't get compliments. Not after age 12, maybe 14. If they're cute and have a really flattering smile, some aunt couldn't help but notice. But after that, forget it. Unless they're a celebrity, ripped, or wearing a tailored suit at a wedding, no one's going out their way to say, hey, you look really good today. And it messes with them. What are compliments anyway? Compliments are verbal affirmations of value. That's it. Recognition. A mirror held up to you saying, I see you. It's not rocket science, but it is brain science. Compliments trigger a dopamine release, a little reward in the brain. Same thing you get from food, sex, or social acceptance. There's small verbal currency. And guess what? Most men are broke. Why does this matter? There's this weird social contract where women are expected to receive compliments and men are expected to earn them through action, through success, through utility. You don't compliment a man for just existing. He has to build something, win something, protect something, provide something. It's like the compliment economy for men is entirely performance-based, while for others it can simply be about being. No one looks at a random man on the street and says, nice arms, your laugh made my day, you smell good. But if a woman hears that, even once a week, it stacks, it nourishes, it affirms. He then goes on to talk about the silent deficit. What happens when someone goes decades without being told they're attractive or kind or warm or valuable in a non-utilitarian way? They get weird, or worse, numb. This is the part no one talks about. You want to know why some men obsess over validation? Why they fixate on that one woman who smiled at them 5 years ago in Walgreens? Why they hoard compliments like they're oxygen in a vacuum? Because they're starving. Loneliness isn't just a lack of people, it's a lack of being seen. Compliments are one of the few legal ways we tell someone you matter. When men don't get that, they either collapse inward or go hunting for it through status, sex, or control. Why don't men get compliments? Because society trains us not to give them. We teach boys that compliments make them soft, that needing affirmation makes them weak, that showing appreciation for another man is gay, as if that were a bad thing. We turn every gesture of kindness between men into a joke. Nice shirt, bro. Thanks, I got it from your mom. Ha ha, hilarious. The solution is stupidly simple. Tell the men in your life they're attractive. Tell them they're good. Tell them they did something well. Watch their entire nervous system short circuit for 1.3 seconds. Tell your friend he's got a great voice. Tell your brother how you admire how he handled that situation. Tell the guy who helped you move that you noticed. Tell the random dude in the coffee shop his cologne is hypnotic. Compliments cost nothing, but they might be the only words keeping someone upright. A man who hasn't heard a compliment in years doesn't need therapy. He needs someone to see him. Not for what he's done, not for what he owns, but for who he is, human. Now, there are a few compliments that are very interesting on here, okay? A woman puts it perfectly. She says, start giving each other compliments then, dude. Be the change you want to be. Also, I don't think any woman walking down the street wants to hear nice arms or you smell good. Pretty sure those particular comments would be considered creepy or gross. Seriously, like, you can't just put it on women to change this. You guys have to put some effort into fixing it too. And that means fighting that weird urge y'all have to think that complimenting another dude will lead you to accidentally getting gay with him. A man writes, whenever I see a guy who puts effort into his outfit and I like his style, I make sure to compliment him in a non-weird way. But as a man, receiving compliments sometimes makes me feel weird. Even from my wife who tells me I am handsome, sexy, attractive, etc. every day. I also have some issues related to anxious avoidant attachment and trauma from age 4. In my opinion, this is the best comment. Why don't men get compliments? Because they don't deserve them. If they weren't such pigs and assholes, they would get compliments. I'm 61 years old. I don't want another relationship, and I still get regular compliments. And this week, I paid a visit to my best friend's mom and told her the same thing. She's 80 years old. She says, "You're still young. You'll find someone." I said, "Mom, I'm elderly. I'm over 60. She said, "What?" I said, "I'm 61 years old." She repeated, "What?" Being a sex symbol in your 60s has its perks. It explains all the attention I get. I'm just not interested. A woman made another really, really good comment. Responding to the article, writing, "You don't compliment a man for just existing." This article is so dumb. No one gets compliments for just existing. Surprise. Someone says to me, "Love your shoes." Well, I had to pick them out, purchase them, and pair them with my outfit. Duh. No one has ever said to me, "Wow, I love how you breathe." Is this article conflating catcalling with complimenting? Is that the issue? You want women yelling, "Hey, nice ass," as a man walks down the street? And by the way, I have complimented plenty of men. My exes, my brothers, my male friends. Conversely, I have only been complimented by a man when he was hoping to get something out of me, namely sex. Hope this helps. A lot of men don't do anything in order to receive a compliment. It's a chore for men to get up and wash their ass, let alone get a haircut, let alone dress appropriately, how to put together an outfit, find the right cologne, keep themselves up. Like, women actually have to put themselves together in order to get compliments. Most women have put in some effort into themselves to get compliments. I get compliments on my skin. I spend about 30 minutes a day taking care of my skin. I spend a decent amount of money monthly to buy the necessary products for my skin. It took years of me investing, learning about my skin, understanding my hormones, understanding what makes my skin break out, my allergies. That is an investment with my time and my money that I poured into myself, and therefore it pays off in compliments. No one just wakes up one day and gets compliments because they're fucking alive. No, your compliments that you receive are typically a reflection of the investment that you've put into yourself. Men so badly believe that everything that we do is for them, and so they constantly are internalizing that. Yeah, men don't do anything for us and then expect to be complimented. So you want to reap the benefits of you believing that we're doing everything for you, but yet you want us to do everything for you while you don't do anything for us. The level of delusion in these men is out fucking rageous. It's through the fucking roof. No, these men don't deserve compliments. The day a man get compliments is going to be the same day that he starts investing into himself. Start investing into yourself. Wash your ass. Learn about how you need to dress. Learn about what colors compliment you. Learn how to be respectful. Learn how to get a haircut that fits you. Learn how to present yourself in a certain way where you can get compliments, because don't men say that to us? "Oh, well, if you don't dress like a hoe, then people won't treat you like a hoe." Okay, well, if you don't look like a dusty, then people aren't going to ignore you, right? You are what you attract. So if you're not getting any compliments, it's probably because you aren't worth complimenting.
For me, at least, I knew that shit was getting scary when I started to watch Black men comparing themselves to women. And I don't want to jump on the bandwagon of this sassy and zesty conversation, because there's a lot of zest sitting over here. So I ain't got call it for what it is, a lot of zest and sass over here. But I would never try to put me in the same sentence as a woman. And I was scrolling through my phone the other day and I saw a man talking to a woman. He said, "Look at you and look at me. Do you think that you're worth me?" is what he said to her.
Whoa.
And I said, oh gosh, shit is getting scary. Where you think that you should be in competition with a woman. And I think what a lot of that has to do with, and why I bring up that jealousy part, is because women have made strides when technically they were supposed to be behind. We lived in a day in society where that woman wouldn't have been allowed to vote, but she would have been. Still, you sit your ass at home when it came time. We live in a society where we all could not get an education. Now we do. A Black woman is highly more educated than a Black man can ever be. We live in a society where men statistically are supposed to be making more money, including that Black man. But she makes 10 times more than you. I think the dichotomy is You showed up not being man enough, and she's being every bit of the man that you were supposed to be. And now you can sit in front of baby girl face to face and say, what are you bringing to the table? When I thought the niggas were supposed to build it.
Damn.
Ladies, it's time for y'all to understand that these men are jealous of you. Yes, these men are envious and they are jealous of you. Because the intention behind this 31-year-old man, by the way, 31, dating a 24-year-old, cough, cough. The intentions of this man going on that podcast and complaining about being a provider and saying, no, I don't have to do that, blah, blah, blah. He knew that that would negatively affect his girlfriend. He knew that. And that's why he went on there and said all of that. He absolutely 100% knew that by going on that podcast and saying those things, that the mob would now be in Monet's comments, harassing her, telling her that she needs to go find a provider, calling her names and things like that. He knew, and he did it on purpose because he is jealous of her. He's jealous of her success, and that's why he's now riding her coattails. He is envious and jealous of Monet and wanted her to be embarrassed publicly. 9 times out of 10, your biggest hater is not going to be another woman. It's going to be that man who lays in bed next to you every night.
Yo, fellas, what's wrong with you, son? So you telling me the girl you got, she look good, so you got with her, so you tell her you love her, you want to be with her, that's the greatest thing that ever happened to you, but then you get mad that everybody see how pretty she is and you getting jealous? What? You thought nobody was gonna give her no compliments? The same pretty girl you seen, we see it too. Listen, if somebody approach your girl and wanna talk to her, let me tell you what to do. Don't even be mad. See how she handle herself in that situation. She knows she got a man. She ain't crazy. If she like, oh, I got a man, I'm sorry, I can't speak to you, I'm good, she a keeper. But if she like, oh, stop it, you so funny, get out of here, big head, you need to run away from her. Leave immediately. Because she just broke up with you. You don't see that? She calling him big head and she smiling and giggling. She broke up with you. When a girl too giggly and she call you big head, she trying to get her cheese clapped. So with that being said, if your girl look good, if she get a lot of compliments, if a lot of people like her, listen, you not the only one that want her. So be prepared on what's gonna happen next.
So when there is a battle and a conversation about modern women, this is what men are talking about. These young ladies have decided that today was a great day to go to the flea market in Atlanta and get a grill. Okay, you do whatever you want to do. However,
on that content got to be slow. You can tell that the manosphere, those male-driven podcast type of dudes, they come on TikTok, you can tell like when the content is slowing down. Like I even looked at that video. When you got more comments than likes on a video, that lets me know what all I need to know when it comes to the content on TikTok and stuff like that. Even the men not rocking with you, because who cares? Who cares if these young ladies, these girls look like they just stepped out of high school, bro. They look very, very young. And they went to go get some grills. They're minding their business, okay? Number two, I know plenty of niggas that don't have any felonies that have grills, and have taken their girls to go get grills, okay? Grills is a culture. It has nothing to do with felonies, and that's that hood conversation, suburbia conversation that y'all like to throw in there. Because I know plenty of people that have never been criminals, that have never touched a damn jail cell, that like grills. They like the way they look and they wear grills. So that was kind of, that's kind of crazy that you threw that in there. But yeah, man, yeah, Don, find something to play with, man. Find some other content to switch to. Maybe do food TikTok. I heard that's pretty popping. Cause this ain't it.
Some men are very jealous of the attention women get, because with that attention, life is easier, life is less expensive, and a lot of women are catered to, while men are expected to be men. And so the same way that women look and scroll through Instagram at other women and their bodies and this and that, and compare themselves to women and how they wish they could be, living that lifestyle or looking like that woman, or wish they had, that person's look or whatever. Men do the same thing, except with women versus men. So a lot of these men who don't know how to get up and go get money or get a career or get a life, instead of focusing on that, they focus on women and they get upset with them. So they're literally comparing themselves as men to women, not to other men. This is where the problem is.
What's up, family? Check this video out.
Every man who plays this comparison game of, oh, well, I took you to dinner, I bought you flowers, so what are you doing for me? You need to call it quits and go date another man. You don't like women, you like men. The problem with a lot of modern men right now is they don't see themselves as Prince Charming. They see themselves as Cinderella. They're waiting for a big, strong man to come rescue them from their down and out situation, their terrible job, their bad family life. They're not looking to rise up and conquer and overcome. They're looking to be saved. They want to be told that they're the prize and they're worthy. And so they look at women with jealousy. They're jealous of the magic and wonders of womanhood. They're jealous that simply you existing makes you worthy in the world, and that they actually have to go accomplish something and do something to be seen as worthy. A lot of women get this feeling like, is there something wrong with me? Why isn't he acting right? Babe, because he's competing with you. He's not trying to be Prince Charming. He's competing with you for the Cinderella shoe to fit. He wants you to be the Prince Charming. He wants you to be a man. Expecting a man to pay for dinner, bring you flowers, and do basic gentleman-like things for you that used to be totally normal doesn't mean there's something wrong with you, and doesn't mean you're weird. It just means that the guys you're dealing with who aren't doing it are in their Cinderella era.
Let's jump into my favorite part of all of the content I post on YouTube, and that's just my thoughts, where I get to kind of express what I feel about whatever we have read or gone over. So let's get into it. All right, let's get into it. So as always, I want to highlight 5 main points from the content we just watched, the TikToks that we just watched, that I want to emphasize to you all from a relationship coach perspective. When you are dealing with a guy and you notice any of these behaviors, you can instantly become aware of what that actually means and notice his jealousy and then move accordingly in dealing with him. Point number 1, jealousy isn't protective love. It can be the first draft of control. Remember, a man feeling a twinge of jealousy isn't automatically the issue. We're all humans. There are times when we feel a twinge of jealousy toward, somebody having something or something we wanted. That is just human. What this is talking about is someone who feels persistent jealousy and resentment toward your success. The issue is what he does with these feelings. So that's what this is focused on. Not that instant twinge, we're human, but it's that persistent resentment, those underlying things that creep up. Does this man know how to regulate himself, or does he start monitoring, questioning, restricting, punishing, insulting, physically abusing, whatever? Right? That's the difference. So in a very healthy relationship, understand that a person is thinking like, I felt secure for a second, or I felt insecure for a second, and I'm working through it. Like, that's a healthy relationship. And that is also a man who's able to express himself in a very healthy way in communicating with his partner. Say you got a big promotion at work and your pay jumped $100,000, or you went and got another job and your pay jumped a significant amount, or you were able to pay off a big expense like a mortgage, or you were able to buy yourself an expensive gift, like, a brand new Mercedes or something. Like, a partner saying that and stating it clearly, that's actually healthy. And then you guys can have a conversation with that. A red flag would be somebody saying, why would you do that? Why would you pay that off? Or if you're out and look good, your man saying, why are they complimenting you? Followed by rules, accusation, isolation, or constant suspicion. Remember, jealousy plus entitlement often shows up as emotional abuse. That's belittlement, humiliation, intimidation, and that escalates over time. We've seen this on social media where men are trying to like disparage and humiliate the woman they're with and then act like the bad bitch in a relationship. It's weird. Number one, why do you want that same attention that a woman is getting? That ain't regular, okay? That is a red flag, and you need to move accordingly, because that man's feelings of jealousy and resentment, and he wants that attention for himself that you're getting, are going to escalate, okay? And not in a good way at all. And it's not going to be safe for you. Point number 2, pay attention to how he acts when you shine. That's where resentment shows up the most, right? So this is the compliments in public test. When you're out and about, a supportive partner sees your light and says, that's my girl, or yeah, my chick bad. A jealous partner tries to dim you so he can feel bigger. A green flag behavior here would be, like I said, he's very prideful, he's playful, he's warm, and clear boundaries with others without blaming you, right? He can see, yeah, my chick bad, like she look good. That's why I'm with her. That's one of the reasons I'm with her. That's a man that understands your beauty, your glow, whatever it is, and he wants to be with you in a positive aspect because of that, as a component of that, right? That's one of the things that attracted him to you. Or vice versa, attracted you to him. So a red flag behavior is he's minimizing you. So him saying something like, they're only saying that because you're new here, or they only saying that because you wearing this, or they only saying that because, you know what I mean? Picking fights after attention. He's trying to bring up foolishness. Subtle digs. We see this a lot on social media, where men are always trying to shade women about their wigs or their makeup or their, accessories, or if they've had surgery or whatever. Like, we've seen it where a woman just is looking amazing on social media, and here come the comments flooded with men who are like, oh, her boobs are fake, or her butt is fake. It doesn't matter. She looks nice. Why are you hating? Right? Or acting like your beauty success is an inconvenience, because the truth is he's with you partially because of that beauty, right? Or because of the way you demonstrate or showcase your femininity, wherever that falls in your, your range. Not everybody's a glamour girl. Some ladies are boho chic. Some ladies are very plain, whatever that is. Part of him is with you because of it. And if it's on the side of the spectrum where you get a little more attention because of it, and he's hating, he's disingenuous. He's insincere. He's with you partially because of that expression of your femininity and your love of makeup and wigs and all that. So don't let that dissuade you. He's a hater and he's jealous. Really look at it and ask, I'm not too visible. Ask yourself, am I too visible? And the answer is always no. I'm not too visible. Say this to yourself. I'm dating someone who can't emotionally handle my visibility. Understand, you're not asking for too much to expect your partner to be proud of how you present and you put an effort into your appearance. You're asking the wrong partner. And if he demonstrates that behavior, red flag, don't just collect red flags, act upon them and move accordingly. Point 3, jealousy and gender role beliefs can turn your success into proof you're the enemy, right? So there are a lot of times when men are resenting women's perceived advantages, pretty privilege, being courted, etc. What they are resentful of is their inability to engage in the patriarchy that was set up for them to succeed in a way that they can get the women they want, probably with their limited means. The men who usually have the most beef around this are the men of lower means. So when someone is operating from rigid gender scripts, but also entitlement, your education, your income, your attention, your independence, your physical beauty, your physical fitness, they can trigger an identity threat for a lot of men. And that is not your responsibility to solve. Your success being a trigger of his lack of success is not your problem, and it's not for you to solve. Notice it, clock that T, and move accordingly. So some relationship conflicts aren't about you at all. It's about this man battling a script that says, I'm only valuable if I'm above her. That's a patriarchal mindset. And it's very there's a lot of dissonance in there because they believe that, but also they don't have the means, they don't have the money to compete at the level they would like to, right? To be a complement to a beautiful woman or a woman that has her stuff together. So it causes a lot of disconnects in a man's own mind. So research on household income and gender identity shows that traditional expectations around men needing to earn more can shape relationship behavior and satisfaction when women out-earn men. And think this to yourself. If he needs me smaller to feel like a man, he's not safe for my growth. That is an unsafe man. Always, always, always. Don't count that red flag. Understand what it means and moves accordingly. And for me, move accordingly 9 times out of 10 means moving away from a person who is in any way jealous or resentful of your success. Point number 4, punishment intimacy is a red flag. Withholding affection to regain power. There are men who withhold intimacy as a punishment. This is very, very common. And it's a control tactic, right? And it's often pairs with resentment. It pairs with scorekeeping and emotional insecurity and immaturity. Love isn't a reward system where you have you have to earn so many points to correctly earn tenderness or consideration. If conflict routinely ends in you being punished, silence, withdrawal, stonewalling, withholding affection, that's a pattern, not a phase. Look at a man's patterns, stop dismissing them. And for ladies, and this is a hard line to toe, I'll admit that. When you have that one friend or relative that's like really hard on men, it could be that she's a hater. So you have to be very self-aware when you hear what she's saying. But a lot of times she's seeing behaviors that are problematic. You doesn't mean you have to take in everything she's saying, but you should probably pay attention to some of the themes that she's saying that maybe she's been repeating and said before. It's not a pattern. It's a pattern. It's not a phase. She is trying to help you to game. Don't be quick to dismiss her. Okay. So in early dating, watch for sulking, withdrawals, coldness, or passive aggressive shutdowns when you hold a boundary or receive attention. And also, punishment intimacy can look like when you aren't willing to give a man some when it's not a convenient time. And he knows this. I'm not talking about like something pops up and it interferes with something you do regularly. He knows you have this big work dinner and he's trying to get some as you're getting ready. Like, sir, why are you trying to do that? So he takes your rejection and then goes, and then goes into withdrawal and silence and coldness in the days after. That is manipulation. That's also a form of punishment intimacy. Point number 5, jealousy is linked to harmful relationship dynamics. Don't ignore patterns. Yes, ladies, stop collecting red flags. Act upon them the first time you see them. So jealousy can be processed in healthy ways, but it's also a known ingredient in abusive dynamics when paired with insecurity, entitlement, and control. And we live in a white patriarchal society. So a lot of times we will see men get very, very triggered by women they perceive who are doing better, or here's another side of that. Women aren't failing the way that these men think the women should fail, i.e. a man has multiple children with the woman and she has stopped begging him to be helpful. They've separated, but she is rebuilding and doing well without him. He is angry, jealous, and resentful of that. And a lot of times that ends up in very bad ways when they're done like custody handoff or in a DV situation. So just be wary of that. So remember, jealousy shows up in research on intimate partner harm and emotional physical abuse patterns very, very often. It is not a core indicator, but it's definitely a characteristic of those dynamics that people need not dismiss. Don't move to diagnosis, man. That's not your job. Identify patterns early and act with self-trust. Trust your gut. That means you're identifying a pattern. That just means you are being honest about what you're observing and you're not dismissing it. Ask, does his insecurity create accountability or restrictions? That will answer a lot about the way he operates and what he believes he's entitled to based upon his own feelings. If it's restrictions, you're not in romance, you're in management. And remember, our job is to never manage a man. That is a death knell to a healthy relationship. He's grown. He needs to be managing himself. So let me know your thoughts about this and men oftentimes being jealous and resentful of women. Here's the truth that sets you free. You are not responsible for managing a grown man's insecurity. You don't need to dim your beauty, dull your ambition, or silence your joy to make a relationship work. A healthy partner doesn't compete with you, resent you, or punish you for being admired. They celebrate you and feel inspired to rise. If a man's jealousy turns into control, criticism, or emotional withdrawal, that's not passion or protection. That's a red flag wrapped in excuses. Now, if you're ready to stop second guessing yourself, sharpen your discernment, and learn how to date from, a place of clarity, power, and self-trust, and go deeper in this work, please think about joining me in my exclusive coaching community on Coffee. That's where we unpack these patterns in real time, build unshakable boundaries, and help you choose partners who add to your life, not compete with it. Check out the link below in the description box.